It's Cindy's choice to be brave and make a difference. Cindy here, and thank you for being here. And I'm extra excited to be here today because I'm back with Tommy Taylor CPA, and it's always great to have you on, Tommy. Thank you so much. I'm eager to jump in because we love talking about entrepreneurship and we love building businesses.
Right.
That is like, that is kind of the beauty of this is that we really love building businesses. I've always loved helping things grow. And isn't it incredible to see people succeed?
It is. It's funny what, businesses we think would never make millions, or businesses that we think are no-brainer because they may not have done it exactly right. They're not surviving.
Right.
So a business is sometimes, it's hard to define sometimes what's going to be successful and what's not, but the people is what make the difference.
Right.
If the people are going to be successful because of the people, not the business.
I was just saying that on Channel 3 this morning and on the radio shows and other podcasts. It's like, Cindy's Choice, we're not building a list. We're not about pushing a product. It's the people behind the product. It's integrity-centric people that really care. People. That's what's most important. But, we've shared about entrepreneurship. We've shared about starting up businesses, and we'll be sharing a lot more about that. But, I was kind of sharing with you how I've created this platform to share the stories because that's the people.
Right.
And to encourage and, give people examples and encourage them and educate them. So, how did it start for you, Tommy?
Oh, it's kind of funny. As a kid, my dad was an accountant. He worked in the industry, carpet mills, steel mills, different things. And he was an accountant with them, very successful. And I remember a couple weeks in the year, I'd have something to do, and he had to be in there with those nasty auditors. They were coming in to check the books. And I just, every time I heard that as a 12-year-old, 15-year-old, even older, I said, man, that's the last thing I want to do. And when I was in college, like second year of college, one of his, the business he was with was looking for someone to do something at the airport. And I went and worked with him for a little while. That job closed down. And he said, I got somebody to interview with. It was his outside accountants, his outside CPAs needed somebody to do something. So I interviewed with it, got the job, and all of a sudden started just seeing what they did and realized it's a whole lot more than numbers, more about how do you solving problems and helping people. And I mean, it's got numbers in it too. I'm not going to give any illusion on that, but it was kind of fun. I really enjoyed it. And several years later, after I got an accounting degree, which was just funny to me because I would have never pictured me getting that when I started college, I ran into some friends of mine from high school, had the exact same thing happen to them. They were not going to be an accountant because their dad was an accountant, and now they are one. So we sat for the CPA exam at the same time, and we weren't close friends, but we knew each other well enough in high school that we all just got a big kick out of it. But I worked in public accounting for a couple of years at two very good firms, local firms, and went out to work with one of their clients for a few years and realized that's not the side of the desk I want to sit on. My dad sat on that side of the desk, but I really didn't. I wanted to get back in my own. I started my own firm, largely because I had offers to go back in public accounting, but my kids were at the age I wanted to see their ball games. And one played soccer and the other, they both played soccer and baseball and a little other sports. And I wasn't going to see their games in tax season because I was going to be working.
That's, the beauty about business ownership. You work more than a 40-hour job yet, but you've got that flexibility though. You can stop and go when you need to, but it's not like you put in more time normally than you would with a regular 9 to 5. But
you have more flexibility.
That flexibility is really something, not especially in parenting.
Yeah.
No, I love that, and our passion, because that's a lot like you didn't even know your passion. It took you a while, and sometimes I think that happens. We accidentally, because you and I are both like encouraging, know your passion. That's what'll help you succeed and have purpose. Because I kind of had a similar experience in that I was very managerial and was very successful managerial. But in hindsight, and then when I went back to school later, got my accounting degree. Very managerial, very like office manager. I could do the accounting, I could manage, and I enjoyed that. But it kind of accidentally, when I started getting put in roles, like when I was managed the hang gliding shop for a year. When you're kind of managing everything, you've got to handle the marketing.
Right.
And I had some campaigns that were really successful and just kind of shocked everyone. And it was just kind of instinct for me. And then I kind of recognized that in the next thing I did. Then I got to looking back. And when I was very managerial, it was my strong suit was the marketing. And it had always been there. And that, eventually I'm like, oh, that's what I love. I thought I loved growing and starting things. So I got out there. No, it's like that's why I was successful at starting things, because of the marketing. I know how to market, and I love that. I'm passionate about that. So it's like, so those of you, when you hear us encouraging you to to follow your passion, sometimes it takes a little time.
It takes a few brick walls, too. Sometimes the brick wall is the best thing for passion. When you smashed your face against it thinking that's what you want to do, and all of a sudden there's another little cracked door in there, and you kind of venture into it, and you could think, I kind of enjoy this.
Yeah.
And do I really, is it my passion or not? I learned mine in college, but I didn't, if you'd asked me in high school what I would have done, I would have said the last thing I would do was be an accountant, a CPA.
That's funny, because when I got my construction business going in a down economy in Houston, Texas, I mean, that was kind of a big deal. I was like the only female commercial contractor that any of us had known. There may be one, but we never knew of any of them. And I was dealing with major property developers, big restaurant chains, and so forth like that. And I was successful in that everybody wanted to do work with me. I was just limited on how much work I could do.
Right.
So I was kind of making a living at it. And I was like really proud of that accomplishment. It felt good. And I did enjoy being in this position to help the subcontractors. I was out there, I focus on the prospects so they can focus on the projects. And people got that, and they liked it. Yet, it actually confused me. I'm like, this is so good. I've worked so hard, to accomplish something that, is really taking off. Yet I really wasn't understanding, why, until I got to actually start Cindy's Choice, which had been my long-term dream. Oh, okay. It's not just starting and building things that I love. I love doing that for others.
Right.
I love helping them do that. And it's something we've made mention to in other conversations. Like, usually if you pay attention to what you're good at,
right.
If you come back and really pay attention, what is your strength? I can talk. And that we laugh, but that is one of my skills. I can talk, and I wouldn't actually call it a skill, but it's like, but how odd is that to me? I work so hard to learn not to talk too much, and listen to people, and can do very well in professional environments. But now it's my job to talk, which I was always there, and I've always had those instincts for marketing, but I wasn't recognizing that that's what was causing me to, want to start things.
But you got to be good at what you do, but you don't have to be the best.
Thank you. Yes.
Because you spend so much time being the best, you may lose the passion, the reason why you're doing something.
That's so good, Tommy. Yeah.
Because if I do all the research, I'm not going to be able to communicate with anybody. Not that you have to do research. You have to do research to communicate with people, but you don't want to spend all your time. You can have your helpers and your partners look and say, "Can you help me with this?" They may have already experienced it, where you don't have to do quite as much research, but you can keep the personal part of it there.
That is so awesome. I'm glad you brought that up. There's two things I want to say about perfection. Because one, like we talked about competing in another conversation, because people say, "Cindy, how are you doing this?" And I said, well, it's because I don't compete. I don't compare. And I don't copy. And when I say compete, of course, we've got to compete. There's competition. But I'm not looking side to side and worried about what other people are doing and trying to be perfect so that I can compete with them. We collaborate and we create. That's what is making us successful. And the other thing on perfection is just I share how I was introduced to radio. And it just... I love how that happened. They got wind of my story, invited me into like the small station, and after the owner himself came in and spent an hour with me on radio. So one of the show hosts says, "Come in tomorrow and be on my show." After that, they're like, "We want to give you some shows." They wanted to give me like a whole week of shows, and you know what my response was? I'm not a radio show host. But I love what they said, because they said, "Cindy, you're authentic, you're inquisitive, and you care. That is so much better than perfection. I'm like, oh, I'm in. I can do that. But of course, immediately though, I had to, I've oh my gosh, Tommy, when some of the old recordings and y'all don't go look these up. I'm like, pop up on YouTube from those. I'm like, how did they see any potential in me?
Is that why we have time limits?
Oh my goodness. I cringe because I'm like, what were they seeing, there?
Right.
But no, it's the authenticity. It's not about the perfection. It's that authenticity that, people appreciate and identify with and trust.
Right.
No.
I mean, the whole thing about business is you've got to do something that not only you enjoy doing, you're pretty good at, but you want to do it for others. Because if you're just wanting to do it for yourself, that's going to get old. People get tired of, no one wants to be talked down at. No one wants to be told what to do. They want you to listen to what their problems are, what their issues are. Problems may be a strong word because a lot of times the businesses don't have problems. They have some issues. They want to grow a different way, or they want to grow, or they're having difficulty with something. Or why are we paying so much tax in this area? Why are we spending so much resources in this? And there may be a good reason and no one's thought it through, and maybe a small adjustment can free up some time or resources.
Yes. And I have to say, really quick too, when it comes to a CPA, I had been kind of of course, when I started Cindy's Choice, I had one client for over a year. Thank you, Chicken Salad Chick in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So there wasn't much for me to keep up with. And, it was just kind of a break-even scenario. But, Tommy, I was meeting lots of CPAs. And I was meeting lots of business people that kind of saw the vision and wanted to work with me. That is a crucial very personal relationship, with your CPA. And at the perfect time, as things started taking off for Cindy's Choice, I meet Thomas Taylor CPA because I'm like, I couldn't just go, pay someone to do that for. I had to wait for a Cindy's Choice. Right. It didn't make sense, And in the perfect time, I'm like, okay, things are. This is out of my hands. I can't manage this anymore. I meet a Cindy's Choice CPA with Thomas Taylor. So awesome. I always enjoy our conversations. I like to keep them short and impactful like this. So I get to have more time and talk with you more. Okay. So we look forward. You'll hear lots from Thomas Taylor CPA, lots of knowledge and the heart to share. Tommy really does. You really do enjoy helping and sharing. And I always tell people he's not just a CPA. He really does care about businesses and offers extra guidance however he can. And you'll find more integrity-centric businesses that care, just like Tommy, at cindyschoice.com. But for today, we're going to wrap it up. And you know how I wrap it up. I wrap it up with a big love bow because I love you. We love you. And we want to encourage you. Lead with love. Seek first to understand. And go make good choices. Thanks, Tommy.
Thanks, Cindy.